Yo, Wellness Posse, Ali Waddell here again. Thanks for joining me on my favorite day of the week, Wellness Posse Wednesdays, where we talk to my favorite wellness professionals and we change the conversation about what real wellness is, from quick fixes and self-hate to self-love, self-knowledge, and self-empowerment. So I am with one of my girls, Eva, today. She is part of the Austin Women's Entrepreneur Circle. I know you might get sick of me talking about it, but it's one of my favorite things. So deal with it. Anyway, she's one of the badass ladies from that, and I'm so excited. She's a health coach. We haven't had a very specific health coach on, so I love what her mission is. We're very aligned in what we do working with women. And so first off, introduce yourself, Miss Lovely Eva, to the Wellness Posse and tell everybody what you do.
Okay, thank you. It's my honor to be here today, and I want to welcome all of you to be a part of this beautiful conversation that's beginning with this beautiful Ali. And so yeah, my name is Evas Olivares, and I'm a health coach. I have been living in Austin for 5 years, and I was originally born in Puerto Rico. Traveled a lot in the East Coast, and what I do in health coaching, it's really what got me here, has been my own personal wellness journey, and just trying to figure out what it all means with all this confusing information that's all out there. So just truly what I figured out through this whole process is that it's very unique to everybody. Your wellness journey is unique and personal and beautiful, and all of it is medicine. So that is what I discovered through the process. And so do you want me to explain a little bit about health coaching, or?
Yeah, well, let's even back it up a little more. Like, let's talk about, because as you said, and kind of across the board, especially with me on my journey, is the reason we got into this is because we're trying to help ourselves and figure out what wellness looks like for us. So a lot of us have had either that's eating disorders or body dysmorphia, or have been unhealthy or unable to balance, and have really had a lot of confusion. So, you know, we dive in, we're nerds. Most of us are nerds, just so you know. Most people in wellness are very nerdy about whatever subject we're not. So we dive in and we learn it, and then we're like, holy shit, we got to spread this to everybody else.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you had a similar path. So tell us kind of, how did you get here? Kind of what did that path to end up being a health coach look like for you?
Ooh, yeah. I didn't
Sure,
even know. I didn't even know what it was. Like, I just knew that I was passionate about my body, like my image, like what my thoughts were, like what I let into my heart. And it all, like, for me, like the turning point was in my early 20s when I graduated from college. I actually graduated from film production, so it was really artsy. I've always been a creative and very multi-passionate, always into health. So I didn't really know how to mesh it all together, and I graduated and was like, holy shit, real world, like what am I gonna do now? And at the same time, my parents were getting a divorce. I was going through like some crazy health issues, like hormonal imbalances, and my life just like kind of fell apart. And I went through a really horrible depression, suffered like severe anxiety where I wouldn't even leave my house. Like, it was so bad. And my mom took me to like a psychologist, psychiatrist, doctors. Like, we tried to figure out what's going on. And they kept saying, it's probably just a chemical imbalance. You just need to take these pills, right? The magic pill. And I did take the magic pill and realized that this shit's not working. So I went into this whole spiritual journey of really like tapping into my heart and like really understanding what Eva wants instead of what the world says Eva should have or want. And went through the spiritual journey, started looking at my diet, food, because I know that food, the chemicals in food can also affect your emotions and the chemical reactions in your brain. And so I really went on this whole journey of finding what was right for me with food, finding what was right for me with exercise, finding what was right for me in terms of what I really believe in, like my own personal journey, my spirituality. And so I got really into meditation and yoga and just holistic everything, like doing everything the natural way. So that's how I got into this path. And then I bumped into the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which is the school that I went to, and realized that I could combine all of these passions into one career, holistic health coaching. So now I'm here.
When was that? When did you attend school?
I did it back in 2014.
Okay.
So not too long ago, and it just kind of everything came together so perfectly. And then also being part of this beautiful tribe in Austin full of entrepreneurs also gave me just that lift to say, yes, I can do this. This is possible. And people need this. people need to have these conversations. So that's how I got involved.
I love that.
Yeah.
First off, we are so lucky, especially in the health and wellness field, to live in a place like Austin. I feel like a lot of people in health and wellness, they're like, why would you want to be in health and wellness in Austin? It's such a saturated market. But the thing is, everybody here knows our languages and is open to talking to us. So there's always enough people, but we are really lucky to be in a place that actually is interested in what we're trying, the information that we're trying to expand on. So I think a lot of people now have started to hear the term health coach. And I know people ask me if I'm a health coach and kind of different modalities. Is that coaching? Is this coaching? Can you explain kind of what is the difference between a health coach versus like a personal trainer versus a nutritionist? You know, like what is health coach to you, or how do you use it with your clients? And then maybe take us through like what is the process with a client?
Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so yes, health coaching really is very unique to the coach. But in a nutshell, health coaching is someone who helps you see your dreams, your goals, really get clear on them, and then start developing a relationship where you're showing up for yourself, either weekly or monthly, and you have the support and the accountability to stretch you, to break through those limiting thoughts, those limiting beliefs that are holding you back to really accomplish those goals. So if you have a very specific wellness goal, like losing weight or eating healthier or drinking more water or reducing stress or getting more sleep, those would be the goals that we focus on. And then we surround ourselves with the right things in our environment so that you can have inevitable success, including a coach to keep you accountable and hold you to it and kick you in the butt when you're playing small, right? But with a lot of love.
Yeah, with a lot of love. As we kick your ass.
But it's like, yeah, girl, get back on.
You ain't doing you. Come on, don't be lying to me. We're basically like the bullshit police.
Yeah, we call you out. We're gonna call you out
in a very loving, kind way. And for me, not in such a loving, kind way. Sometimes in an asshole way, but people.
Yeah, it's a tough love. You know, some people need that, and so. The difference between a health coach and a nutritionist, because a lot of people come up to me and they're like, what should I be eating? What pills should I be taking? What supplements? What vitamins? And that is the role more of a nutritionist and a dietitian. So health coaches really work together with the healthcare team.
Yeah.
So this is what I love about what I do, is that there is no competition. We're all working together. I'm working with dietitians, nutritionists, functional medical doctors. We're all working together as your healthcare team.
Yeah. And
then I'm over here as your cheerleader, like, you can do this, you can do this. And you're not alone. That's the biggest thing, is knowing that you're not alone. That was what really pulled me through, is when I joined the Health Coach Institute, which is what came after the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I found this beautiful tribe of like-minded people who are also going through their own personal battles, who are also just trying to figure out this like crazy confusion that's out there with diets and eat this, not that, and do this, not that. And at the end of the day, what I realized is you have to listen to you. You have to tap into you, your truth, your heart, who you are. And that's why I developed my program called Reignite Your Glow, because it's about connecting to that light that it's always in you, it's always been in you. And now you're just reigniting that glow to, you know, what happens in life when you begin to tap in to what turns you on. Turning on that light.
Yeah.
It's
You
really
show
beautiful.
up bigger and brighter, and you kind of expand everyone around you, because when people see people who are living authentically and bright, it is invigorating. I mean,
Contagious.
It jazzes you up, and it's contagious.
It's contagious. It gives you permission to do the same.
Yeah.
Because if they can do it, hey, they're not different than you. They're human beings too. You can do it too. And that's what's beautiful about the whole process.
Yeah. That's also why I've talked so much about how important your circle is and who you are surrounding yourself with, and really taking a really hard look at who are the people in your life who are lifting you up, and who are the people in the life who you feel energy sucked by. And not to not show those people love, but that you're really emphasizing putting yourself around people who are pushing your boundaries, whether that be in your job or whether that be in your health or whatever that is. There are different facets of your life, and you really need to bring people that are trying to help you raise up, and it makes a big, big difference.
Yeah. And even if those people that bring you down, let's say, are in your family or people that are in your job, using that as medicine too, like using that as, how do I still live my truth without the need to convince or judge, right? Setting those loving boundaries. And so it's all of it is part of the process, which is so amazing.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, I love, one of my favorite things that I love to give people kind of tips and tricks to be their happiest, healthiest selves. So what are kind of your top, 2 or 3 things that you feel like most people can implement relatively simply that can have like the biggest impact on their health and wellness?
Ooh, yes, that's a big one. I think, wellness is not just what you eat, not just health, right? Like wellness is looking at your life as a whole, how everything is related to each other. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So looking at, what I do in the morning, so one of my biggest tips is connecting with your purpose every single day. Like, why am I here? What am I doing? So that every choice you make then throughout the day is aligned with that purpose. And so I have this beautiful morning routine that I developed and adapted from the Miracle Morning book by Hal Elrod. I love that book. And he lives here in Austin, by the way, amazing people. And so I adapted that morning routine where I wake up, the first thing I do is meditate. 10 minutes of just bringing in that state of being of gratitude and joy, because that's the place that I want to start my day with, gratitude and joy. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to live and to breathe and to give back and love myself and love others. And then the second thing I do in my morning routine is I do some visualizations. So I think about, not my to-dos, because I hate the word to-do, I think about outcomes. Like, what is the outcome I want for the day? And so I visualize myself doing it, like mentally rehearse myself doing it and associating it with those feelings of gratitude and joy, so then it's fun. It's not like, oh, I have to go work out or I have to go and get up for work. Like, it's like I'm doing these things because, oh my gosh, I get to take care of my body. It feels so good. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna make money. I can pay rent. I can feed myself and my family. So there's just connecting to that, to the gratitude and then visualizing. And then the third thing I do is affirmations. So, like, what are the belief systems that I need to really cling on to make these things happen? Because you're going to have shit thrown at you throughout the day. That's going to throw you off the track, and you're going to be like, wait, what was it that I was doing? Oh, look at that pretty butterfly. I'm going to go over this way now. So it's like, it's affirmations, like, what is your day going to look like? And I am, like, the affirmations are states of being. Now, I will or I want is I am. So I am already abundant and I'm already attracting those beautiful clients I'm meant to serve, or I am so healthy. Even if you're feeling so shitty and sick, you're already saying I am healthy and all my cells are regenerating. You're creating that state of being by your affirmations. Yeah. And then the last 2 things I do are exercise, some kind of movement. I love yoga. I'm a yoga junkie. I'm super into yoga.
Where do you practice?
And I practice on my own.
Oh,
I do the 5 Tibetan rites every morning. The 5 Tibetan rites are amazing.
Yeah.
And there's these really simple 5 stretches that you can do every morning, and it takes you like 10 minutes to do, but it just invigorates your body, fills you up with oxygen, ready to take on the day. And then if I have time, I journal and read something inspirational. So those are the steps to the morning routine. It's all based in 1 hour. You can allocate however much time you want to each of those activities. Or if you can only do one of them, hey, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah,
like,
big deal. I mean, seriously, if you can spend 5 minutes doing something mindful to start your day out, it will transform your life. People do not believe this, but I have like 15 minutes to transform your life. If you can get a solid morning routine on, your whole life will change. It sounds crazy, but it works.
Yes, because you're coming from that place of alignment with who you are and what you're here to do.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it really brings into focus, and it helps you throughout the day remember, because you'll always come back to center. And if you are one of those people that you didn't sleep well and you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, everybody's had those days, and then your whole day is like shit. You're like, oh God, Life is so hard.
That was me this Monday morning. I partied too hard on Sunday, and I was like, oh crap, what was I gonna do on Monday?
Like, ah,
and it's okay, you know, giving yourself permission to play a little bit too. It doesn't have to. You don't have to be perfect all the time. It's okay.
It's like perfect yoga and perfect meditating,
yeah.
which is like my favorite, which doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
It's like, I'm gonna be perfect at meditating, which never happens.
And then like that truck passes behind you, and then the drilling, and you're over here trying to be zen.
The fuck is zen stuff? Y'all are ruining it. So awesome. So those are the things that you really like, and I know that you work with a lot of other wellness professionals. Being in this industry, you hear and see a lot of different ways of being and a lot of different ways of doing what we do, which I do believe pretty much everyone in this industry is doing it for the right reasons. They are really trying to make people healthy and happy and bring wellness to the world, but some people have a very interesting way of doing that. And so what are some conversations that you wish other wellness professionals, that maybe you wish you were hearing more, either amongst health coaches or maybe that health coaches wish they were having with their clients? How do you wish that kind of conversation was expanding? Which I think it is.
Yeah. And I love that you say conversation, because that's what health coaching is. It's just a powerful conversation between two human beings holding space, right? So as a coach, this is what I do. This is the process that I take my clients through, is I allow them to really be themselves by creating that connection, right? That rapport, like, hey, I'm a human being too. I make mistakes too. Like, we're in this together. So creating that safe space, right? Having that space to really go deep. And that's where the real healing comes from, right? Yeah. That's the conversation that I want to bring more to the table, is instead of wellness professionals being like, do this, do that, like giving tons of advice, like stop and listen to your client, like listen to what's really going on in their lives, because they may think that they're coming in to lose 10 pounds, but truly at the deep core of it is the love for themselves that they need to work on, or the relationship with her mother, which is huge. Like, just inner child work is the biggest work you can do in personal development. Like going back to that inner child and what is it that it wants, what is it that it's still hurting, right? And really having that conversation, like going deep. And that's what's really missing when you go to the doctor. I mean, you go there, they look at their clipboard and it's like, check, 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 check. Here's your medicine, goodbye, here's the Band-Aid. So it's like the Band-Aid approach. Yeah. And that's the part that I'm as a coach coming in and saying, no, let's look beneath that, right? Let's look at what's really happening, and let's talk the real deal, right?
Yeah. The thing that I really loved reading about your philosophy was that, and I really truly believe, is you're your own health coach, and what you're really doing is helping them understand and get in touch with their body, and everyone knows innately how to be healthy. You just sometimes have to kind of pull it out of them and have them trust and listen to their intuition. I feel like a lot of people don't trust themselves. They want somebody to tell them what to do. And why is that? Because they don't want to actually be held responsible for their behavior. That is actually the realization. Yeah. Because if you tell me what to do and it doesn't work, I can blame you for it not working. The difference with working with a health coach is we're talking about what works for you, and then you get to own whether or not you're going to commit and actually follow through, and whether or not you're going to be successful. Yeah.
Taking the responsibility.
Taking the personal responsibility for your own health is the biggest thing.
Huge.
That you try to get clients to do. That is a struggle for people.
And then, and the reason why it's a struggle too is because we've been trained to always follow someone, right? The leader.
The person that knows over there.
Yeah, the teacher, the experts, the doctor. Like, I had a woman once come in and tell me, well, my doctor didn't tell me to do that, so how am I supposed to know? I don't know. And people are so disconnected from themselves. So that's the heart of the work of health coaching is, you get to connect back to who you are, your truth, and what works for one person may not work for you. What worked for your mother may not work for you. What works for your husband may not work for you. So just being okay with that and understanding that it's a process. Getting back, tuning in, listening, experimenting, getting curious. If it didn't work, oh well, toss it out. Try something new. You don't have to stick to it if it's not working. So Yeah, it's about accessing your own personal wisdom.
How do you help people to trust themselves and kind of tune back into their like health intuition that we all have, because they've gotten really disconnected? Do you have certain like an exercise or something that people can do that maybe...
Yeah, absolutely. It's called your breath.
It's super complicated. Ready? $1 million.
Your breath. Seriously, like there's something so magical about closing your eyes and taking those deep breaths in and just scanning your body. Your body has so much wisdom that lives in it. So as you're scanning your body and you're just breathing in, you'll find some points, some places in your body that feel stuck energy. Usually that's the area you need to focus on. So our body, I don't know if you've read the book, You Can Heal Yourself by Louise Hay.
Oh, I haven't
And the
read
work
it.
of Carolyn Mays, they talk about there's places in your body that tell stories. So the story of your arms, if you're having pain in your arm, what is the one thing that you need to be letting go of right now that you're holding tight to? So there's stuck energy there, right? You're holding on to something. Or if your back hurts a lot, what is the one thing in your life that you're carrying a burden in? Or your neck, what's annoying you? What's the pain in the neck? I mean, it can seem so simple.
That's so
And almost
cool.
like crazy and kooky and like, yeah, right? But if you really look deep and look at what's happening in your life, then you can say, oh my gosh, true. Or if your throat, if you have like a sore throat, something's going on with your throat, what are you not expressing? So it's like looking at, your body. Again, you have this tool, your breath. Close your eyes, take one deep breath and just scan. And just let your body speak. Yeah.
I love
This
that.
is what I do with my clients, like every
I mean,
session.
come on. Who doesn't want to talk to her more? She's amazing.
It's so fun. It's so great.
So speaking of kind of the surface stuff and kind of what you see on health Instagram and wellness professional land, which is a little sketchy, what is kind of a myth that maybe clients or people come to you or want to ask you over and over again that you're like, can we please, it's 2017, stop talking about this because it's just not true?
Yeah, for me, it's the yo-yo diet, like following diet trends, like whatever's out there right now, that's what's the one size fits all, and it's not. Like paleo might not work for you with your unique body type.
Completely.
Like if people are trying vegan, like vegan right now, vegan everything, vegan this, vegan that, some people thrive on meat, and so it just really, it's about, yes, listen to it, it's great tips, try it on, see what happens. But know that at the end of the day, back to that foundational philosophy that you are your own health coach, you know your own body. And so that's the one that and then the whole magic pills, like taking pills when you're depressed or taking pills or, again, I know a lot of it is self-medication and you're looking for some quick fixes, but it's not about the quick fix. It's about really going deep and doing the work.
Yeah. I was going to say some more about that, but I feel like she summed it up here. So one of the things I really like to share with the Wellness Posse is that wellness professionals are real people who also struggle with wellness.
Yes.
Most of us more than actually normal people because we're in this all the time. I really like my guests to kind of talk about what is a time where you kind of fell off the wagon or kind of got out of alignment with kind of your wellness goals, and kind of you can get as personal as you'd like on that. And then how did you find to put yourself back on track? Because I know a lot of people can kind of hold it together, and then an emotional event or a physical event, they get injured, something happens, and the wheels fell off their goddamn bus, and then they're like, I don't know how to get back. And sometimes if you're not careful, that can last years, if not decades, and then you wake up way farther offline than you actually were, as if you would have just kind of realized, oh gosh, I got out of alignment and had a bad week. Maybe I should get back on.
I think that happens weekly sometimes. Like this Monday, I'm like so honest about it because I wanted to get up early and didn't, and I partied really hard the night before.
Should happen.
Drinking cacao. Partied really hard with cacao. A time in my life, I would have to say it's interesting because moving to Austin, which is such a healthy community, kind of like I started hanging out with the wrong crowd, partying a lot, And I was always healthy. Like I loved yoga, meditation, like I was mentioning before, that I got really into in my 20s. But just, I started just trying to fit this mold that I wasn't. So I could fit in with this crowd, like of partying really hard and drinking and staying up late and doing that whole thing and being someone I'm not, you know. And that threw me off my wagon. And I just realized that, you know, I wasn't happy. As much as on the outside,
like you were happy.
On the outside on
I'm
Instagram,
doing all this fun stuff.
people were like, "Oh my gosh, she's on a boat and she's like partying and she's like on Zilker Park running. She must be healthy." And like all this stuff was just almost like a facade of what was really going on inside, which was me trying to figure out what the hell I was doing in Austin, and you know, how I was going to create a lifestyle that I really loved. And so it was a whole discovery process. And I finally, like I said, I found the School of Integrative Nutrition. And at that time I broke up with my boyfriend at the time. And it was just perfect, kind of like a perfect storm. Because I was quitting my job, starting a new career, quitting a relationship that was really beautiful. And I learned a lot, but it was time to let it go. And so that process of letting go led me to really find myself in those moments of solitude. And I would have to say, like, what really brought me back in alignment was creating that morning ritual. The morning ritual where I would wake up in the morning and I would just meditate and just picture myself. What is my ideal life look like? I didn't really ask myself this question. What does Eva really, really, really want? And once I figured that out, it started popping up. I started seeing images of myself, like, doing these amazing yoga retreats, traveling the world, which now I get to do with this beautiful career. And it just started coming together for me, and I began to do that, began to just connect with that meditation, yoga, and not letting anything else get in the way. And when it did, it's okay, like giving yourself that compassion and not non-judgmental to just say, hey, it's okay, I fell off. Monday happened, and I got back on it on Tuesday.
I mean, and really, sometimes a week happens. I went on a vacation at the beginning of June, and I gotta tell you, when I got back, I had 2 weeks where I was like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to answer an email. I don't really want to work. I don't, I'm like, oh, sure, I can have a Skittle. Why not? I eat Skittles all day. No, I never eat like that. But I just find these different times where it happens to everybody. You just get in kind of a funk, and how fast can you realign yourself? And mine is the same way. It's all about your routine. As soon as I notice that my routine has like started to fall off, I'm really conscious of it. And as long as I can get it back on track, I'm waking up, I'm doing my 15 minutes of meditation, I'm going to the gym first thing in the morning, and then in a day, I'm like, okay, we're back together. All right, we're good to go.
Yes, and when you do have those moments where you eat the Skittle or the chocolate cake, or you drink, a whole bottle of wine, whatever it is that you did, doing it consciously. Doing it consciously with love, and to say, hey, this is also part of getting into balance, right? Because it can't be too restrictive, because then your inner rebellious child will rebel. And so giving yourself that permission too.
I think that's a big thing, is that people feel like a lot of shame around getting off track. And I have to just remind people, this is a long game, like the longest game. Like your whole fucking life game. Like nobody, like you don't think about it. Like people are like, get me fit. And I'm like, listen, this is from now until you're dead. So like 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, really in the grand scheme of things, is not that long. So you need to look at every time you get back on track, you just stop beating yourself up. Just get back on track and let's start over. And I love I'm a big fan of self-testing, and that diets, exercise routines, morning routines, everything is a testing. You're just getting more information. And so try out a new way of eating. If you hate it and you're miserable, please stop. Nobody needs to be subjected to some lifestyle they hate. If you hate spinning, stop fucking going to spinning. I mean, or don't run. Or, I have clients that would come to me and they're like, I don't like to run. I was like, great, you don't ever have to run. I don't give a shit if you run. Like, there's a million different ways to be in shape. Like, let's make it fun. Because, like you said at the beginning, it's the difference between a have to and a want to goal. And just changing that language. I mean, getting to say that oh my God, I want to go work out, or I get to go work.
I get to. That's
like
the big
being,
one.
I mean, it's just like a gratitude in a phrase is I get to have this life. I get to cook dinner for my family as opposed to,
I get to go dancing and sweat, you know, and have fun and connect with people at the same time. So for me, it's when I look at my goals for the week, I always think about what's the outcome, really.
Yeah.
What's the why behind the what? Because if the why is to connect with people and sweat and detox and do that, and I don't go running, I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, because I'm still gonna find a way to do that, to connect with people, to sweat, to do that thing that I wanted to do. So connecting to outcomes more than like physical things, like I think that's one of the biggest ways to reduce shame, or like the, oh, I didn't do it, or I didn't say what I was gonna do, and feeling like shameful for it. So I love that about Tony Robbins. Like he's more about like, fuck the to-dos, think about your outcomes. And I'm like, oh wow, that just was a big mind shift for me. So definitely.
Yeah, the outcomes, the actual outcomes, and the emotions that you're gonna feel from those outcomes is a really strong tie-in.
Yeah.
What emotions do you want to foster in your life? I love that you said gratitude and joy. Like if you started your day off thinking about compassion, happiness, joy, that will filter in how you are interacting with every person and how you are coming to every situation. You're going to be way less likely to yell at the Starbucks girl if like your whole goal is to like be compassionate and full of love. I mean, having love for somebody and hating them, you cannot do that at the same time. So
Yeah.
I love tying back to the big why and then also the emotions around that why. They can really impact you. So
Absolutely.
that is our main section. Now we're on to Wildfire Wellness Round, our rapid fire questions. I just like doing that because I feel like I'm on a game show. Okay, so we talked about your first 30 minutes. Do you have an evening routine?
I do. It's kind of like the power down hour. So like I make sure that I start disconnecting myself from electronics.
Please start this.
TV. I mean, I actually stopped watching TV like 9 years ago, and I only watch Netflix and like certain shows that I really want and love, and I can do it on my own time. So I don't have to sit and wait till the show comes on. So power down, electronics, stepping away from the things that are, work, like screen time. I close my computer. And then I start giving myself like either a gentle massage, some stretches. If you have a partner, some Thai massage is awesome. So yes, massaging, bubble bath, hot shower, just to like begin to tell your body it's time to relax.
Yeah.
And then I read. I get into my bed, I read, I either meditate again, I think about my date for the next day, like all the things that I want to accomplish, mentally rehearse that. So it's like kind of like a light version of my morning routine, but more of like just to power down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you read fiction or nonfiction at night?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I'm currently reading a nonfiction book.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 What do you read?
Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh, that was just suggested to me on Audible.
Yes, it's so good.
Is it good?
Yes. It's all about the mind, right? Like how to break habits, really, and your limiting beliefs by just really understanding the brain, and meditation really helps. So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that one down.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Speaking of books, what are some of your favorite wellness books or people or podcasts or like where do you go to kind of get, new information or get interested in new subjects?
Yeah, so I get books all the time that I just put in my shelf and I'm like, I'm going to get to that book soon. So I have like 6 books that are sitting next to my table right now. I'm reading, I like personal development too, and some fiction. Like I love to read, for some reason when I read fiction, I like to read it Spanish because it's a romance language and that was my first language.
Yeah.
So I love to read in Spanish books of Paulo Coelho. He's actually a Brazilian writer. He writes in Portuguese, but it's translated in Spanish and in English. And he's just so great. I love his book. I have the book The Alchemist next to my bed.
It's one of my favorite books.
I use it as an oracle sometimes. I just flip it and I'm like, oh, that's what I needed to hear. I needed to hear that today.
Oh, I love that.
I love, books like that, personal development books. Just use them like an oracle and flip to it and see, oh, wow, that's exactly what I needed to hear. So, so fiction, Paulo Coelho, the Dr. Joe Dispenza book I talked about, and then I have this coaching book I love. If you're a coach and want to be a badass coach, get The Prosperous Coach by Rich Litvin and Steve Chandler. It's another book that I also flip to when I'm having like a bad day and I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, did I do a good job today? Or was I
Am I doing this right?
Or was I being mediocre? Like, you know, I look at the book and it gives you so much knowledge and just like wisdom on really what it is to coach somebody, like to sit in front of someone and have a powerful conversation with them. That's truly what it is.
Yeah. I love it. What's your spirit animal?
My spirit animal, oh my goodness. I last year when I was transitioning from becoming a health coach, I started seeing a lot of dragonflies.
Oh!
A lot of dragonflies everywhere. Like everywhere I went on the green belt when I was hiking, they would just buzz on my head. Like I was like, what's this about? And so sometimes, you know, and I think spirit animals come to you at certain stages of your life.
Yeah.
That one was mine. The dragonfly is obviously a symbol of transformation and transparency. So it was a time to be myself, you know, and really become who I really was or who I really always been, but kind of reigniting my glow. So
I love it. If you could design a t-shirt with a saying on it that everybody had to wear, what would it say?
I think it's the one that I sent you, the quote earlier that I sent you that we put on the social media is, you know, your success begins and ends with your beliefs. So what is the story that you're telling about yourself?
Yes.
So that to me is so huge. When I really took that in, it just changed my whole life. And I realized that there were some belief systems still there and are probably still there that I needed to start kind of like loosening so that I can allow the expansiveness to come of who I really am here to be and do, and all the beautiful gifts that I'm supposed to be offering to the world. So checking in, just check yourself, check your beliefs.
Check your beliefs.
Yeah, maybe it should be check your beliefs.
Yeah, I like that one. What is your superpower? This can go one of two ways. I like to ask it both ways, but so first off, like, what do you do as a person, as a real human, that you feel like is very powerful? Like, what were you kind of mission driven that you were put here to do? And then we will go for if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Okay. So my superpower is empathy. It's almost like a double-edged sword.
Yep.
Because I tend to really feel all the feels, like all of them. For me, for others, and in the beginning when I was first trying to figure out what this whole thing was about, of what it means to be a highly sensitive person, it was kind of hard living in big cities because there's so much going on, so much movement, so much violence, and it's just So I almost started feeling like I needed to create this protective shell because I didn't want to feel bad all the time and sad and depressed for people. But then when I realized that it is a power, it is this beautiful, powerful thing that you can use for the benefit of yourself and for others, especially when you're helping other people lift up into their true selves, I was like, holy shit, this one thing that I thought was my weakness is actually my power, my gift. And that I can do this as a living, that I get to sit with people and listen to their dreams and help them really overcome those crazy things that they think are blocking them. It's so beautiful. So that, to me, empathy has been my biggest discovery this past few years, shifting it from a weakness to a beautiful gift. Yeah.
And then if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Absolutely flying. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna be so fun.
I want some wings.
She's gonna be a dragonfly.
I'm gonna be a dragonfly, and just fly away. I love seeing life from the bird's eye view, just seeing the big perspective. So just being able to have that superpower.
What advice would you give to your 16-year-old self, and what advice would your 90-year-old self give to you today?
Woo. Man, when I was 16, I was in Miami, partying it up.
Having fun.
I had just moved to Miami, yes, and I was completely like, whoa, party life, this is awesome. I was very nervous. I was a very nervous child growing up, I had a lot of anxiety about everything. I wanted to be perfect all the time. And I just recently recovered from perfectionism. So I wanted to just admit that. I'm a recovering perfectionist. And when I was 16 years old, I would freak out about everything. Like if I got a B on my exam, I would flip out. If I didn't do the painting that I wanted to paint perfectly, I would flip out and throw it out. Like it was just, I was so hard on myself. Yeah. And so I would tell her to just chill the fuck out. I would tell her, girl, have more fun. You are so young. You're so beautiful and intelligent. And I didn't believe any of those things about myself. I was always trying to prove to somebody I wasn't enough. So everything that I did was like, look at me, look at my beautiful painting, or look at my beautiful dance, or look at my A++, you know, and it was just, you know, I would tell her to relax and have more fun and give myself permission to be a little bit more messy with life. That's what I would
A lot
call
of
it.
perfectionists.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what would your 90-year-old self tell you?
My 90-year-old self will tell me to remember the simple things. Yeah, the simple things in life, simplify. I'm getting into that point in my life where I'm becoming more of a minimalist. I'm really just getting down to the bare bones of what's really necessary to live and survive, and then what do I need to thrive. And if I have those two things, I'm good. Yeah. So I would absolutely tell myself to focus on the simple things, and I'm starting to do that. So,
do you feel like you're doing that?
I'm starting to do that. Yeah. Those, especially, you know, getting down to a bag. I have like a medium-sized suitcase.
Tell everybody what your new adventure is.
My new adventure, I'm putting all my things in storage, and I'm reducing my life to a medium-sized suitcase, and I'm just going to go travel Latin America, Europe, Southeast Asia for indefinitely. I don't know how long, but definitely I know through the end of the year I'm going to be in Latin America. So that's the dream.
So if you're in Colombia.
I'll be in Colombia. Well, I'm starting off in the Dominican Republic, then Colombia, then possibly coming back here. Well, I know I'm coming back here for sure for a health coaching conference in Dallas, Texas. It's called Spark the Change, awesome. HCI Live, if you want to be going to something like that if you're a coach. And then possibly Guatemala in December. I don't know yet, but we'll see.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming and chatting on Wellness Posse Wednesday and sharing all your amazing knowledge with the Wellness Posse. I want to kind of wrap up with you sharing what's coming up for you, how people can get a hold of you, and then kind of any final thoughts you have.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, so the best way to contact me is through Facebook. You know, look me up, Evamaria Olivares. It's spelled Evamaria. My last name is Olivares, Olivares, and that's my website, myname.com. So if you find my name, just type up myname.com. That's another way to get a hold of me. And I just started a 21-day challenge to reignite your glow. If you want to join that group, is also my website name, evamariaolivares.com/reignite your glow group. So if you want to join that, then message me and I'll add you. Thank you so much for being part of this, guys, and thank you so much, Abby.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sugar. Thanks, Wellness Posse. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Let us know if you have any questions.
Love you.
Bye.